Imagine a city, any city. Skyscrapers scraping the clouds, roads teeming with cars, people going about their daily business. In your mind's eye, it looks like the place where you live now, except underwater. A little eerie, right? Well, it doesn't have to be a figment of your imagination. In 2021, scientists exploring the bottom of the Black Sea stumbled across something incredible. An entire submerged Bronze Age city preserved in the exact condition that it was left in thousands of years ago. The discovery is remarkable, and not just because it's so well preserved. It also raises some important questions about how settlements like this died out, and what it means for other potential ancient cities that may lie beneath our oceans. This is Anoxic Brine Pools, why entire cities can be perfectly preserved on the seafloor. Settlements don't typically fare well over time. They decay, they erode, they get bulldozed by glaciers, or otherwise disappear into the geologic past. That's why we don't have many remnants of early human history from before 5,000 years ago, because most of those sites have been worn away. But there are exceptions. Take this megalithic tomb in China. It was built around 3000 BCE and is still standing today. It's made out of huge stone blocks, each weighing between 4 and 6 tons. Archaeologists were surprised to find that it was still so well preserved because it had been buried and then unearthed multiple times over the course of China's long history. Each time it should have eroded, decayed, or otherwise fallen apart, but it didn't. And that's because it was constructed from specially selected rocks that resisted weathering and erosion. In other words, it was built to last. It's a similar story with the ruins of Petri in Greece. This Bronze Age settlement was likely founded around 5,200 years ago and abandoned around 2,700 years ago. But even after being home to humans for more than 2 millennia, only about 10% of its structures have collapsed. That's remarkable, especially when you consider that this site has been exposed to the elements for thousands of years. But the answer to its longevity, again, has to do with the materials it was built with. Its houses were constructed out of huge slabs of limestone that required specialized tools and manpower to quarry and move. In other words, the very qualities that made them easy to build also made them hard to destroy. But both of these sites pale in comparison to a discovery made in the black. See, in 2018, scientists believe that the city they found was founded around 6,000 years ago, which makes it at least 2,000 years older than the Greek city of Petri. Even though it's been underwater for thousands of years, it looks exactly like it did when it was first built. The buildings are still standing, the walls are still intact, and the streets are still paved. So how did this happen? To find out, let's take a trip to the Black Sea. You might know this place better as the location of the infamous Black Sea anomaly, a mysterious dark spot spotted on the seabed in 2003. Some believed it could be the lost city of Atlantis. Others thought it was evidence of a massive meteor impact. But it turns out that the Black Sea anomaly is really a vast, sadly oxygen-free region of water that lies beneath the surface. This dead zone is caused by the fresh water of the Danube River mixing with the salt water of the Black Sea, where the two meet. The density of the water changes dramatically, creating an invisible barrier that prevents oxygen from reaching the depths. There's also a bit of a chemistry issue. When the river water mixes with the seawater, it forms hydrogen sulfide, which causes the water to become anoxic, meaning that it doesn't have much oxygen in it. Anoxia isn't good for most living things. Suffocation? Anyone? The only organisms that thrive in anoxic environments are ones that don't use oxygen to survive. These microbes run on sulfur instead, making them chemotrophs. But the conditions at the bottom of the Black Sea aren't just anoxic, they're also hypersaline, meaning that they have a higher concentration of salts than seawater. These conditions create the perfect environment for a type of chematroph known as an archaeon. The Black Sea is home to nearly half of the world's archaeal species, many of which form cool chimneys and vents on the seafloor. And here's where things get really interesting. Archaeologists studying the submerged city noticed that the wood used in its construction had been perfectly preserved by the Anoxic Brine Pool. That's because the chemicals in the water break down organic matter extremely slowly. So anything that sinks into the pool is kept intact. The same goes for the city. The waters of the Black Sea broke through a natural dam in the landscape, flooding the settlement and protecting it from the outside world. It's like a giant pickle jar full of primordial ooze, except instead of pickles, It's full of an entire city. As soon as it was submerged, the settlement was cut off from the atmosphere. No oxygen meant that nothing could decompose the wooden structures or the organic matter within them. Instead, everything was frozen in time, turning the city into a remarkably well-preserved snapshot of life 6,000 years ago. Preservation like this is incredibly rare. It gives scientists a unique opportunity to learn about a civilization that would have otherwise been lost to time. But the conditions that preserve things at the bottom of the Black Sea also prevent us from excavating these sites. Unlike archaeological digs on land, archaeologists can't just show up and start digging. They need special equipment to explore the depths and bring artifacts to the surface. It's a catch-22 situation. It's great that the city is so well preserved, but in order to study that preservation, we need to disturb the site and risk ruining it. Archaeologist Claire Pope of the University of Southampton describes, "It is trying to study a building by poking it with a screwdriver through the window without going inside." Still, scientists have managed to find ways around this problem. They've developed new technologies that allow them to explore these sites remotely. For example, researchers have created robots that take higher resolution pictures of sunken cities and create 3D models of the seafloor. This allows them to virtually explore these places without ever getting in the way of preservation. They're even learning to use laser scanning, which creates detailed digital copies of submerged objects without disturbing them. Even better, these methods work anywhere. Scientists have found similar anoxic pools all over the world in places like the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, and the northern coast of Australia. Many of these pools are home to entire ecosystems of bizarre creatures that look like something out of a science fiction movie. They're also home to remnants of our past. Researchers think that another anoxic pool in the Persian Gulf could contain one of the oldest human settlements on Earth. It's not clear if it's older than the one in the Black Sea, but it could be. It's possible that there are many more of these underwater cities waiting to be discovered, and that's exciting. But it also poses a challenge. These discoveries raise a lot of ethical questions. Who owns these sites and who should have the right to explore them? Countries around the world are racing to claim the most valuable resources in the ocean, from minerals to oil to fish. But they're also starting to stake claims on the cultural resources there too. In 2021, the government of Greece tried to lay claim to the submerged city in the Black Sea, even though it's located in international waters. They weren't able to stop the research project, but it was a close call. This is just the beginning of a much bigger fight over who gets to profit from underwater discoveries. As our technology improves and we discover more of these submerged cities, we'll need to figure out a way to share them with everyone, not just the countries whose shores they're closest to. Otherwise, the rest of the world will never get to see these amazing pieces of history. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to help us explore more fascinating scientific discoveries, you can join our community on a crowdfunding platform. When you join, you'll get to see our videos early, chat with us directly, and even have your name added to our credits. We've got some pretty cool perks to say thanks for your support. So visit our page to learn more.